3 places, so hopefully Google will like that. So we're back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so sebaceous gland. It dumps its oily substance into the hair shaft, and then it's moved somehow to the exterior stratum corneum, where it lubricates and waterproofs the skin. Make sure you can recognize a sebaceous gland attached to a hair in microscopic slides of the integument. I'm not going to ask you about apocrine or American glands. We'll skip that. So here's our epidermis, very thin layer on top. Here's our American sweat glands. Here's our apocrine sweat glands. Well, I may ask you about these dudes. Take it back. So apocrine usually are attached to a hair follicle, and they secrete sweat to cool you off. American glands are also sweat glands. So depending upon their location and what they secrete, that gives you your unique body odor and makes you an individual based upon how your sweat smells and feels, and it gets out there and touches the sweat glands, release their sweat on the surface in order to cool the body by evaporative cooling. So big function of the skin is to regulate temperature. It acts like a radiator, and as sweat evaporates from your skin, that movement of the water molecules from liquid to gaseous state takes a lot of energy. So as that hair rotates, it's going to have, as the sweat is deposited on the keratin and on the surface of the epidermis, you're going to have evaporative cooling. And being able to sweat allows us to visit most of the most active sweat glands, or for identification, are in your armpits and in your pubic area. And those glands help you become a possessor of an individual odor. We have about 3,000 genes for detecting odors. So how we smell is very important. Okay, so let's keep going. We talked about body temperature, very important. People die from hyperthermia. I wonder if anybody has died this year. We lost people back in the polar ice storm that died from hypothermia. I just was tutoring a student this morning whose heat and electricity went off, and it was very, very unpleasant. People died in Texas due to the extreme cold, and our government in Texas just doesn't care. Abbott wants to waste money on a border wall. Ridiculous. What I would propose is just to annex Central America and make all drugs legal. So we could just make Ecuador and Guadalajara, Mexico, and Ecuador and whatever in Central America. Let's just make those states, because we're never going to solve the immigration problem. as long as there are drug lords and corrupt, immoral politicians, they'll always be there. Just annex Central America, make all drugs legal, and we'd save a hell of a lot of money. Okay, so we have fingernails. I want you to know that's an accessory, very important structure. You don't have to know the parts of it. Inflammation. What is the purpose of inflammation? To heat up a damaged or injured area, to allow for more fluids and blood and oxygen to get there, to stop the bleeding and scar formation. Right now, if you eat a diet of meat and dairy, you're greatly increasing the inflammation in your body and you're causing disease. I know that it's very controversial, but in America, industry sells us food that kills us, and the pharmaceutical industry gives us drugs to treat the symptoms and not changing the lifestyle. So if you guys are not working on becoming vegans, you're going to die sooner from heart disease and diabetes. That's what the research is showing. Okay, scar formation, we're not going to worry about that. Okay, we'll skip all of those slides. We don't care about burns. I can tell you the skin ages, my skin is lost an enormous amount of elasticity. I have wrinkles. I don't sweat as much as I used to, and so on. So age is a bummer. So keep eating meat and dairy and die sooner. That's what the research is showing. Also, keep allowing people to have cows, pigs, and chickens be treated terribly and allow all of that methane from the cows and pigs to go into the atmosphere. And then all of that waste has to go someplace. And we have so many animals there to produce meat. So plant-based meat is going to replace, thank the Almighty, is going to replace meat from cattle and pigs and chickens. And the most healthy diets now don't eat any meat, don't have any dairy. So you say, Dr. Clifford, you are really full of it. Well, the more plants I eat, the less I'm full of it. Okay, let's stop that. Let's go back to we at the end. Yep, we sure are. So we'll stop there, stop recording, stop recording.